Hey everyone! So I wanted to come to you today with a video about all of the books that I am excited about that are coming out in March. So I'm going to try and go in order of release date. Books generally get released on a Tuesday. Who knows why? I don't know why that's when they pick it, but normally all books get released on Tuesdays every week, so I'm going to go in order of the release date. The first book that I want to talk about is called The Girl Who Fell, and this is by Shannon M. Parker. This comes out on March 1st, and this just sounds very dark. It's kind of advertised as a contemporary, but a very dark contemporary, which is kind of intriguing for me because it's not going to be a light and fluffy read. This sounds like it kind of deals with the downsides of the whole love at first sight thing. It's about a girl, I'm assuming they're in high school, and she falls hard for a guy. And it's about, I'm guessing, kind of the span of her falling really, really hard for a guy, them getting in a relationship, and her starting to realize that maybe he's not as amazing as he seemed when she first fell for him, and she's starting to realize how much she gave up of her own self and her own life to be with this guy. So it seems like it's probably going to be very dark and very probably heartbreaking. I'm not sure how romancy it's going to be because it sounds pretty heavy as far as contemporary books go. The next book that I want to mention is called The Great Hunt, and this is by Wendy Higgin, and you might recognize that name because she wrote the Sweet Evil trilogy, and this book comes out on March 8th. I'm pretty excited about this. I like that a lot of authors are starting to go towards fantasy because obviously fantasy is clearly the trend right now of what's popular. This, I believe, is a retelling of a Grimm's fairy tale. I'm not familiar with it. It's called The Singing Bone. I personally haven't heard that story, but this is supposedly kind of a retelling of it. It's about a kingdom that is threatened by a beast. I don't know what type of beast, but there is a beast present. And the king pretty much sets up a huge hunt, and whoever slays the beast gets to marry his daughter. So obviously there's incentive, and of course there is the daughter, and there is a handsome man who just wants to kill the beast to save his own family, and I'm assuming there is going to be a romance. I just really like when authors who became popular for one type of subgenre kind of delve into a different one, because I really like seeing how they handle different types of writing. So I'm excited to see what Wendy Higgins does with this fantasy world. The next book that I want to bring up is called Rebel of the Sands, and this is by Alwyn Hamilton. This also comes out on March 8th, and this sounds very interesting. Another trend that's happening right now is a lot of retellings of the Arabian Nights stories, or just kind of Arabic stories in general. It's kind of a culture and a part of the world that hasn't been talked about that much in YA or just in literature in general, so I'm really excited that there's starting to be books out like this. This is, for all those people who read The Wrath of the Dawn and didn't really click with it, this is supposed to be so much better. And I personally love The Wrath of the Dawn, and so I'm really excited to see what this book brings. It's set in a desert nation where females just kind of seem like a commodity, so of course the main character is trying to escape from that. And she meets a mysterious handsome foreigner, whatever, and his name is Jin, which I am assuming kind of is foreshadowing that he is probably a genie or a djinn, because right now that's really big in this type of book. And he can clearly make her wishes come true, is how it's advertised. So I'm guessing that his name is kind of a spoiler for his character, but it just sounds really good. It's a really good cover. I like the cover. So this is also coming out on March 8th. The next book that I'm really excited about is called Harmony House, and this is by Nick Sheff. Nick Sheff wrote a book called Tweak that was very, very popular a long time ago. It's a very heavy contemporary read of his issues with drugs and becoming addicted to, I believe, heroin, and it's his harrowing story of kind of coming through that and accepting life and overcoming, obviously, that huge obstacle. So this is kind of intriguing that he is now branching out and just starting to write fiction and not his horrible life story, or his horrible life past, I guess. This book, obviously from the cover, is going to be a horror story. It sounds like kind of a modernized version of the classic haunted house story. A daughter and her father move into this really creepy old Victorian mansion, and obviously stuff starts happening there. So it just sounds like a good horror book. It'll probably be good for Halloween if you want to hold off and read that then. But this comes out on March 22nd. And the next book that I want to talk about is Wink Poppy Midnight. by April Genevieve Tuchel. I don't know how to say your last name. I talked about this in my most anticipated releases video. I am so excited for this book, mainly because of the cover. I love it. It's so good. I also didn't know, I just found out that she is the author that wrote Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, that duology. And that has mixed reviews as far as writing goes, so I'm not too sure how this is going to be taken, but more is starting to be released about this book now that we're getting closer to the release date, and it just kind of sounds like a very kind of magical realism contemporary read that I'm assuming is going to have some weird quirks in it, but it kind of is like a two girls, one guy situation, kind of a reverse love triangle. There's kind of a weird, mysterious girl, and then there's a Regina George type character girl, and there's one guy who falls in the middle, and obviously I'm assuming drama happens, but based on the cover and based off some of the synopsis, it seems like there's going to be a lot more to the story than just kind of a weird love triangle going on. But this also comes out on March 22nd, and I am so excited to own this book because it is so pretty. So those are all the books that I want to talk about. I'm going to try and keep it down to about 5 books that I talk about every month. Of course, there are also some really big releases that everybody's anticipating. There's Lady Midnight. I believe there's a 3rd book in the Winter's Curse series coming out. But those are the 5 that I am most personally looking forward to. And I'm going to throw in an extra. There's going to be a bonus little book because it's not a full release. But Rainbow Rowell is releasing a short story for World Book Day, which is March 3rd. And it's called Kindred Spirits, and it's Rainbow Rowell, so, I mean, that alone should sell you on it. But I am super pumped because it sounds like nerdy goodness. It's about a girl who is obsessed with Star Wars and is waiting in line for the release of the new movie, so it's up to date and it's modern and it's nerdy, and Rainbow Rowell's really good at the nerdy fangirling stuff. Obviously, you know, fangirl happened. So I am just so excited for this. I think it's only like less than 100 pages, but I mean, you better believe I'm going to be reading it. So this comes out on March 3rd. So those are all the books that I am most anticipating for the month of March. Leave in the comments if you have any others that you're looking forward to, or if any of these sound amazing to you, or if any of you are lucky enough to get an ARC of any of these books. I'm insanely jealous, and please share your thoughts on them. So that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys are reading some amazing books, and I will see you guys next time.